than that, if you have any questions, just.
I heard it was going to be a movie.
Yeah. As far as I know, what I've heard about the movie, actually I've talked to the producers of the movie way back. It was weird because they were contracted to the movie. They had already hired a scriptwriter to write the script, but they had no idea what Devil May Cry 3 was. And they're like, oh, you did Devil May Cry 3. I met the producer just randomly at a party. And so he came over to the office, and we were giving him materials on Devil May Cry 3. And I was like, oh no, it's going to be one of these, Hollywood movies where they don't know what's going on. But from what I've heard since that the movie project, I guess Beacon Entertainment was the company Beacon Entertainment and Gaga. And I guess Beacon has fallen apart. Gaga's, I think they may still have the rights, but I think it's just kind of limbo right now. I think it's just happening, to be honest. Not with those people, it might go somewhere else.
Do you know what time period since it plays in?
The movie?
Yeah.
Originally, I think the project's dead. But originally, what they were talking about was, I think Devil May Cry 1, like just before, somewhere in between 3 and 1. It's like 3 prequel to 1. So that's what they were saying. I don't know. Right now, I think it's just
Maybe.
So, which is a good thing, because originally I think the anime, the contract they had for the anime is they weren't going to release it in North America until the movie was released. But if the movie project's dead, then hopefully they can get out of that contract and the anime will come out here later. So it might be a good thing.
I get a question about how much manpower was used in, for example, like the modeling of the characters and how big of a team did you have working graphically on this?
I don't know. That's all Capcom stuff. I was just part of the talent side, and as far as the motion capture stuff, all the models and CGI creations were done in Osaka at Capcom. I've only been there for meetings.
So this is more of the production that was...
Right, they hired us separately outside of Capcom. Link's Digiworks and my company Just Cause, we came in as a supplement to do all the extra cool things. And they did all the technical stuff.
Are there any other upcoming games that you are planning to help support besides Capcom and the Cry series?
Let's see. Well, Capcom they seem to like us. We did all the Dead Rising stuff. All the cinematics and that, as well as Devil May Cry 4 and a couple other games I can't really we're in the works. A game that has been announced is Disaster with it's going to come out on the Nintendo Wii, and we did a lot of stuff for that. It's Monolith, who's a company in Japan. The distributor Bandai Namco. But then Nintendo just bought them out, so it's going to be like an all Nintendo title.
Is there anything you say about PSP version?
Of Devil May Cry? I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't even heard you either, so I probably not. Because there's so much to it, I think they have to have a powerful.
Any rumors of a Devil May Cry for the Wii or DS?
No, I think it's what they're doing right now for 4 is it's being programmed, I think, on the PS3, but they have Capcom and they have tools to make it go multi-platform and do everything. So they need a machine powerful enough, and the Xbox 360 or PC is going to be able to have the same graphic capabilities. Any of the other systems, I don't think will be able to have the power to make it good. Keep it up with the graphics. Anything else?
You seem to do a lot of commercials overseas. I mean, how is that? Is it easy? That or?
No, I moved out to Japan a little over 10 years ago. I just kind of on a whim. And that's how I got my start in the entertainment business, was auditioning for commercials and TV shows out there. And because of my gaijin face, I kind of was able to get my foot in the door. And I spoke Japanese, which helped compared to a lot of the other local talent out there, they don't really. There's a few that speak Japanese, but I kind of at the audition I could understand what the director was saying, as opposed to having that lost in translation moments. So I would just do what he said and end up getting the job, and so I had a pretty good track record. Pay the bills, and then I would go and train, just train the rest of the time.
As far as that, did they actually model Dante's face after you, or what?
Now that's a tricky question because I've been wondering that myself. Originally, no. Originally, Dante 1 and 2 was already there, and then I went to the audition for 3, and I auditioned with a bunch of other guys, and then slowly, I've been noticing my partner would be like, Dante's looking more and more like me. What's going on there? But they, nobody says anything. They haven't told us, oh yeah, we're modeling after you. They say, no, we're modeling after somebody else. So, okay, well.
Conveniently looks like you.
Yeah, whatever. So it's weird because in 4, I'm getting people are calling me up. I'm like, dude, it's like totally written now. I'm like, okay.
Did they tell you about that stuff? Or?
Yeah, but as far as Capcom admitting that, no, nobody said anything. It's just I don't know. Maybe I'm just there all the time.
It's the legal disclaimer. It's any similarities to persons who are real is completely coincidental.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. So I don't know, but it's cool. Hey, make it look more like me. That's awesome.
And you'll keep getting the job.
Yep, exactly.
Have you played any of the Devil May Cry games?
Oh yeah, I played them all.
What about the one, both Dante's appearances in the Beautiful Joe series?
Oh, I have not played those. No, I've heard about them, but yeah.
Because there's a really, I've only seen a few shots of them, and the funny thing is that Dante's unhinged form is just him in a speedo, and then his henchman cry is, "Devil May Cry is a rockin' baby, yeah!"
Oh really?
But then, but in game it's just Devil May Cry.
Okay.
Yeah, it has hidden treasure there too.
Okay, well I didn't do the voices for that. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but I think I think it's Devil May Cry 1 voice.
Oh, okay, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Huh. I'll check it out. Yeah, cool.
It's only available for the PS2 versions.
Cool. Cool. Any other questions? Good question.
You read the stuff?
No, unfortunately. Yeah, they I kept seeing it at random places. Like I'd go to some links, an animation company, and they had it in the lobby. And then one time I went to Capcom, and then they had it down there, and then they keep moving it around. Apparently, they spent a lot of money on it. And I don't know. It's around.
Now it's a trophy. They put it on that stick with that tennis ball and wave it around.
It'll probably show up on an auction at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure. But then I think Capcom still has it somewhere. Just in case for whatever. But like, they usually display it at the beginning when you walk into the office. It's either like on show or something. But the sword is. It was actually, it looked really good, but it was very unbalanced. I don't know if you had played with the real sword at all. Yeah, it was too heavy on the upgrade. I had sore wrist after that commercial for like a week, just from not work out, the legitimate stuff.
Yeah, I also wondered if you had any like blooper reels or retakes that had to be done as we're doing this, or was it
just other than what you saw?
no?
Other than the occasional.
I
I mean, there was other stuff that we didn't catch on film, but what we caught.
Did you have a question?
So, yeah. That's it.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Any martial arts training?
Yeah, I studied in Japan. I did Aikido at first, and then I got into stunts out there, working on TV shows. Heard of Japan Action Club, or Sonny Chiba had a school there, and a couple other like Japanese martial art actors. They opened what they call action schools. They teach you martial arts with acting, stunts, reactions. And it's kind of Power Ranger, Jackie Chan style type martial arts, because there's a whole kind of culture behind it. It's coming from the samurai Chambara films, and it's about fighting, timing, hitting your marks. I just did that for 4 years.
Yeah, it shows really well. I mean, you can see it in the other work for like sloppy and like what they're doing. And like I played the record, like yeah, it's really sharp.
Cool, thank you. Yeah. And I love martial arts. I mean, I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan. I mean, Jackie Samuel, those guys. It's whenever I can, I try to train this stuff.
Okay, that's a good question. Did you ever participate in any other previous dual sets, Power Ranger type style, work in terms of your martial arts previously? Before this point?
Before, yeah, that's how I got my start. In Japan, 10 years ago, I auditioned for a TV show there called it was called B-Fighter, Cabo Film, and landed a role on it as an actor. And it was my first day of shooting. I got a chance to do a little bit of fighting stunts, jumped on a trampoline, threw a punch, and got to beat up a rubber monster. And I was like, man, I can make a living doing this. This is awesome. But I knew my ability was kind of lacked because I didn't really have, before that, I didn't have much martial arts training. And I just, from that point on, decided, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. And I just focused. And the stunt guys on the show were part of Sonny Chiba's team, and they invited me to go train with them. After that, it was just training every day until now, still, yeah. And then I came and worked on Power Rangers in the States as well.
How do you get hooked up with Samuel and Jackie Chan and go get to Hong Kong?
Well, I got my training in Japan, like I just said, and then being a white guy in Japan, my work was pretty much limited to commercials or print work. So, and I wanted to get, my feet wet. I want to get my feet wet. Sorry, sometimes I'm thinking in Japanese too much, and those expressions, those English expressions.
Don't translate well.
But I want to get my feet wet, so the only place to do it at the time and that was close by, was Hong Kong. And I was a big fan of Jackie and Samuel's, and I went to Hong Kong, and immediately a Japanese friend of mine, was working for Donnie Yen, Kenji Tanigaki, and he was kind of made a name for himself in Japan as being, the Japanese guy who's made it in the Hong Kong stunt industry. So, and he was a friend of a friend's, and I went there and hooked up with him. He introduced me to Donnie, and then from there was the Hong Kong community is very small. The action, or not even the action, the whole Hong Kong. Yes, the whole what do you call it? Entertainment industry is very small. So from there, I met Samuel's son, I met Jackie, I met everybody, and then started, getting work little by little with those guys.
Are the stunt done differently in Hong Kong compared to Japan?
No, they're actually very similar. Yeah, the style. There's more like kung fu styles, I guess, incorporated with Hong Kong movie martial arts. But as far as the basics, like I said, Chambara, it all comes from. I guess the Hong Kong stuff originates from Peking opera, but as far as filmmaking, I think the samurai films, that kind of started it, and then Bruce Lee and those guys kind of took what worked from the Chambara films and incorporated to Hong Kong films, and then Jackie and Samuel and Biao and all those guys just kind of improved on that. And it's very similar. The timing, the acting. The only difference is just kind of styles, but the basics are the same. You have to, hit your mark, react, and throw a funky reaction, and not hurt yourself. And so it's all the basic principles are the same. In Korea as well. I think Asian fighting, film fighting, it's all pretty much the same.
Do you get hurt a lot?
Yes. I'm recovering from my MCL. I tore my MCL in December, so I'm just recovering from that right now. Actually,
That's one of the stabilizing ligaments of the knee on the right side.
For those of us that don't hurt it on a regular
Yes,
basis.
for those of us who don't hurt it on
If
a
you don't
regular
hurt it,
basis
yeah.
or treat it.
I didn't even know what it was
happens.
until I heard it. I'm like, man, my knee hurts.
Yeah, medial cruciate ligament, if you really, really want to know. But it holds holds the leg bones together, and it's really important for stunt work in particular that you've got to keep your joints working properly and strengthened, or else they'll give out, and then your career's done.
Yeah. The problem is you can still function without it. So I would just wrap it up and just keep on working and keep tearing it more and more. But it's good. I'm alright. That's what we get paid for.
Okay. Yeah. Is there any difference in your approach towards voicing an older, more mature Dante in DMC4 as opposed to his younger, brash self in DMC3?
It's not really, because it's kind of been a natural progression. Devil May Cry 3 was, 3 years ago? Or probably about 3 years ago when I voiced it. And it was my first major voiceover job. So it just, and then naturally since then I've, done so much stuff and have been, working and doing stuff, so it's kind of, and growing with the character. So it's naturally right now it's easier for me now to do the 30-year-old Dante than it would if I had to go back and do that. I'm watching that now, I'm like, wow, I did that. I did that. And it's easier now just because I am 30 years old and it's just, my voice is old. So I don't know if that makes sense.
It's not that old.
No, it's older than it was before.
30, so old.
So and no. I mean, it's just even though the character was at the time I played, Dante was supposed to be a teenager, and I was 20
something.
Do the math. 37, yeah. But for me, it was still, everything was new. So it kind of went with the characters as well, and the whole voice being young, everything, it kind of worked out very nicely. I don't know if that answered your question.
It did, yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
Yes.
When you talk about like stunting or acting and voiceover, those are small things that, just like with regular people versus a character, they can kind of portray the personality. How much free rein do you get when you're doing that to kind of interpret on your own and throw that in there versus being micromanaged, like saying this is what we want the character to have as feeling and personality, so you have to use this kind of phrase, so you have to say it kind of snarky. How much free rein do you have independently?
Well, for Dante, actually, it was very difficult because he was already established in 1 and 2, and the producers had their image of the way he should be in 3. So unlike other characters, so Virgil or some of the other not as major characters, everybody's got their opinions. Everybody's has to put in their 2 cents worth, and it's very robotic. And it was very challenging trying to, take in everybody's opinion and then still try to make it my own. And actually, I've said this before, but the first 2 days of filming, I fought and pulled teeth, and it was really some of the 2 hardest days of my life because of that. Everybody had their opinion and everybody was doing everything, and then finally I just threw it all away and I just didn't pay attention to anybody, which was kind of as an actor, you're not supposed to do that, but I felt I was just meeting walls when it came to the character, and I couldn't take it because everybody had a different opinion, and if I tried to do one person's way, then the other guy had something else, and then I said, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to do my own thing. And that's what happened after that.
Do you find yourself trying to go for situations or for openings where they haven't completely set in stone what they want their character to be, or do you feel more comfortable with something that's already been established?
Well, I love to be creative and do my own thing, but then again, if there's something already established, like Dante's. He was already established. He already had a huge fan base too. So getting the honor to play that role was, I would jump on that in 2 seconds, and I did. So it's hard to say. Some other characters that aren't established, you don't know how popular they're gonna be, or if they're gonna be popular at all, and so there's pluses and minuses. Maybe you have some free reign with new characters, but is it gonna be popular or not? And if there's already an established character that's popular, then of course you want to try to do that. I guess it's the same for comic to movies. A lot of actors want to play. Nick Cage wanted to play Ghost Rider. It was already established. you know, Tobey Maguire doing Spider-Man. You know, you want to jump on these cool characters because yeah, they're already established, but and they're, you know, really cool characters. But the downside is, you know, they already have a following. Everybody's already got their image of that character. Are you going to be able to meet their images and meet up to their expectations? So that's the balancing act you kind of have to play. Which, yeah, I'm glad everybody likes 3. I hope everybody likes 3. That's why you're here, right?
No Rotten Tomatoes so far.
Right. Cool.
You ever feel like Dante outside, just, you know, when you're walking down the street?
When I have my shirt off and I'm walking around with my jeans, no. No.
I'm eating cardboard pizza.
Yeah, eating cardboard pizza. Good question, huh? No, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever felt. I mean, of course, there's situations, you know, with his family and with you know, the whole
You have
all
an
the
insane
emotions.
twin brother?
I don't have an insane twin brother. I do have a dysfunctional family, though, so that helps. So in that sense, I can relate to the characters.
We're in Japan, like, is there a certain area that you were able to get more jobs nowadays?
Well, Tokyo. Everything happens in Tokyo. You gotta. I mean, there's some work in Osaka, but it's more for print work, for foreigners, I guess. It's print work and some minor commercials. But you gotta be in Tokyo. It's like LA for, you know.
Just look at the newspaper, nowadays, it's called
There's actual agencies there. They call them Gaijin Talento Jinsho, and that's where you go. You kind of register with those guys, and then they'll take you in to audition and stuff. And you give me a headshot, or they'll take pictures of you and how it started, or the action schools. But I didn't really get any work through them because they, you know, there's not any. There weren't any fighting roles for engagements. But maybe you might be able to get some money. Different stuff. Yeah, it's it wasn't easy. I mean, it was challenging just to go there, and it's kind of weird to say. It's something I just fell into. My first audition in Japan for a print ad, I did it out of a need for money. It was something I never thought I would ever do. Growing up through high school, I was the shyest guy. I just watched anime and played video games. That's all I did. I never had a physical anything in mind, a physical bone. I hated sports. You know, I loved watching Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, but I never thought I could do it. And then I went to Japan and the first audition, I booked it, and I was like, oh my god, I booked it. Now what? You know, went to the job and I did it. It was easy. I made some money, and I was like, yes. So then after that, just one thing led to another. I started getting more jobs.
Was the schooling something that they sent you through, or something you did for yourself?
For the action school stuff, it was something because I landed the role in the TV show. They invited me. They were like, "Hey, you know," the other actors weren't really big on training and stuff, but I was just, you know, as a Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee nut. I love this stuff, and the first opportunity I got to actually do it, I was like, "This is great. I love it. I want more." And they saw that, so the stunt guys were like, "Oh, you want to come train with us?" You know. So it's kind of that show helped me out because I made that connection. If I hadn't done the show, I don't know how I would have gotten the ins to go train with those guys. But I do know that I still keep in touch with the different schools, and I do know there's a couple of Gaijin guys out there training right now. So it's at the time I was the only one, but now there's a couple guys out there. Anybody else?
Where is the action school located at?
Tokyo.
Okay.
Yeah, there's quite a few actually. There's, the guys who did Devil May Cry, it's called Uden, is the team, and they have a school or a team that they kind of train with. Japan Action Club, Kurata Productions, Kurata Pro, Kurata Yasaki. He has his own school. It's pretty popular. And then lots of little groups, wild stunts.
Throwing people against walls.
Yeah, well, yeah, we do it all. You know, trampoline. I mean, the basics are that they teach you is gymnastics and karate, and then acting. You know, and then from there you learn wire work and high falls. I used to have a school. By the way, I used to teach. I still teach privately sometimes in Burbank. If you're ever in Burbank, I started a school. Go to actioncinematraining.com. And I tried because they don't offer anything like it here in the States. That kind of Asian style cinema training. And a buddy of mine, we started a school. And we were teaching, but it's different. Asian style martial art acting requires an Asian style mindset, which is a little bit different from America style. So it's hard to get students.
Hard to do that cross culture.
Yeah, we were trying to do it, but we still do private lessons, and I train a lot of actors and stuff for films. I don't know if you guys know Brenda Wu or Brenda Song.
Oh, Brenda Song, like from Three Lives, Zack and Cody?
Yeah, from Zack and Cody. We trained her for a movie, I think it was called Brenda Wu, Homecoming. Did that last year. So, some other girls and guys.
Yeah, I've heard of her.
Yeah, check it out. I'm on the DVD behind the scenes.
So is Asian cinema, is that how you transition to motion capture? Or-
Kind of, yeah, because Power Rangers and that kind of acting, style of acting, and stunts and everything, motion capture. For motion capture, you need to be expressive with your body, and a lot of TV actors or Hollywood actors have a hard time doing that. And most of motion capture is, it's fighting or shooting a gun or flipping or something. So they tend, for motion capture work, they tend to over-exaggerate. But they also tend to look for stunt people who can act first before they go to actors. And since starting the whole thing, I got into motion capture myself. I've been casting people for Japan. The people who tend to get the jobs, I'll call in anybody for the audition. As long as they kind of look the part or have some ability, I'll call them in. But the people who tend to book the jobs are, Power Ranger guys, Dan and Johnny, or theater actors. Adam, he had a strong theater background, and they're very expressive. You have to sell because you're selling your movement, and theater guys are used to selling everything to the back of the audience. It has to be a little bit bigger.
It's got to be in the voice. It's all.
You have to project yourself out. Where TV guys or film guys are, it's all about the eyes. It's all about the subtleties, which is not. There's not much subtleties in motion capture. Not yet. We're starting to get that way.
Technology's getting better.
Technology's getting better, so we're having to tone our stuff down a little bit. But until then, on screen we're animated characters, so you've got to be animated.
So is that your next transition, or you want to move into anime, maybe voiceover, since Dante kind of broke into the scene?
Yeah, no, I'd love to do voiceover stuff, but I still like to use my body while I can. So,
completely wrong.
Yeah, when my body's totally trashed, then I think that's all I'm doing. But I love doing both. I love doing the whole process. Really interests me and excites me, and ultimately, not just the acting part, but the whole behind the scenes, the producing side. Telling the story, creating the stories, the technology, the whole direction. Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, those guys are my idols, and they do everything. And that's ultimately what I want to get to their level, is to be able to, have an idea and from start to finish, make it happen, and be part of every aspect of that idea. That
From to fight for angles and fight scenes.
Right, from be able to do everything that I can with the ability I have. That's the ultimate goal.
Yes.
Is there any chance of you doing voiceover for Dante in the upcoming DMC anime?
Now that, what you
Yeah.
should do is write to Capcom and insist that the only person that you can see as Dante is Reuben Langdon. So if everybody writes letters, they actually do pay a lot of attention to the fans because the fan is their market and they appreciate that very much. So the more people write in and say, I hear that you're plotting to do an anime for DMC, the person that I would really like to see is Dante. The only person I can see being Dante is Reuben Langdon. And the more attention they get for that, the more it's likely Reuben is going to be the top on their list. to bring in an audition.
Reubben. No, yeah, I think that we've talked briefly to the producers, but you know, it's not going to be decided until they actually. I think it gets a U.S. distribution, which is still up in the air. Once that happens, then.
June 14th.
Yes, come on, next one.
Is that, oh, in Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah. So the U.S. distribution hasn't been decided. Once that's decided, then they'll have to go through those guys. But if Capcom says we want to use this guy, you know, go then.
It's got a lot of weight behind it.
Then it has a lot of weight behind it. So.
So send us letters.
Yeah, letters, please. Send 2 or 3.
Yes. Write different names on them.
Have your mom and dad write one.
Just over in Sunnyvale, go outside.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anybody else?
Any final questions?
Yeah. Can you say any of your favorite lines from any of your roles or sneak peek with DMC4 or something?
Did you say anything in the trailer so you're allowed to say?
I'm trying to think what I said in the trailer.
It was mostly Johnny talking in the
Yeah.
trailer. Poor Johnny had to keep them messages.
Yeah, I know that's it. Just trying to think. He said something. I have to see the trailer. Remember? Man, let's see. It goes in one and goes out the other. Got to keep everything fresh. Keep absorbing new stuff. Sure. All right. Give me a line.
What's your favorite line?
What's my favorite line?
No.
Yeah, your favorite
What's
line.
favorite?
No, what's your favorite line?
I love a fast woman.
Any other lines?
It's one of my favorite lines.
This is my kind of rain.
This is my kind of rain.
What do you like say though after you do like hit like and just like say like
Oh, that's actually not my voice. That's the guy Sean. Who, yeah, that's his. That's one of his lyrics.
what do you say?
I have no idea. They probably mean something, some other language.
What do you think is the corniest line you have
You mean just one? There's like a ton.
What do you feel?
This party's just getting started.
Those.
I thought the soul line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We are the sons of Sparta. Within each of us flows his blood. More importantly, we carry a soul.
Yeah, that was fun.
And now my soul is saying it has to stop you.
Good times. The funniest thing is I had to do some tests in Japanese for some of those lines. Maybe I can remember some of those.
Can't help you.
イカれたパリの始まりか。だったらもう少しなんだっけ。
Okay. Anyways, I was saying the party's just getting started. what else is there? I don't know.
What is the question?
All right. Is that it? Sure.
Have your favorite weapon in that whole game?
My favorite weapon?
Yeah.
Maybe the sanchaku, the 3 sectional. Yeah, that was fun. It was fun just trying to come up with moves and manipulate it and hit myself in the back of the head at times. But yeah.
Have you had to do any really corny lines with DMC4 yet?
You'll see. You'll see. Yeah. What's that?
How old is like Dante in like DMC4?
Well, it's supposed to be in his like 30s. It's
I
like
know in DMC3 he's supposed to be 19.
yeah. So in 4 he's like in his 30s. Yeah. Yeah, it's
It's that whole demon thing. They don't age.
3 is supposed to take, or 4 is supposed to take place in between 1 and 2. Kind of, yeah. So yeah, they're changing it, and the plot line changes a little bit, but
It's a plot twist.
yeah, shortly after 1, I think is kind of the, but the weird thing is he's still more of the same Dante from 3 as 1. So.
Sorry, no, she said something.
So is there a reason he seems so dumbed down in 2?
I think it was just time constraints. They threw that game together really fast because of deadlines. Itsuno-san, the director, he's not happy about that one. He's like, because basically they said you have to create a Devil May Cry game and have it done by this date. And he's like, what? What? So he tried to do the best he could with what he had. And, yeah.
I heard rumors that it had something to do with something that happened before, like some dramatic thing.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about as far as the back plots and stuff. I don't know what they had in mind. Exactly. They don't really talk about 2 that much.
Yeah, I noticed.
Whatever happened to the Devil May Cry 3 manga? I heard like
from
with the project, so like it never got finished, but like
the one from Canada, right?
yeah.
No, not the Kyoto. I think she's talking about the manga that's in Japan.
Oh, the one from Tokyo Pop.
Yeah, they should start translating that.
Yeah, I think they're still making it. I think it's just slow. Yeah.
I think the manga artist like quit the project. That's why. So.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I haven't heard too much details about it. But they only made 2 books.
2 so far. It's supposed to have 3. Code Dante, Code Virgil's out. So Code.
Lady's supposed to be the third
Yeah.
one, right?
The manga gotta start drawing something else. Is all I know.
Okay.
Probably.
Do you have a question? Since DMC is international, fans, do you go to all the states, countries?
Oh no,
Fans are crazy.
This is my second con attending, I guess. I did go to Tokyo Game Show, not just to see the game come out. I saw a lot of DMC fans there, but yeah, I don't know.
He's new to the cons.
I'm a newbie, so it's fun. I love it. So I used to attend cons as an attendee. When I was in high school before I went to Japan. So being a guest is cool. Yeah, you kind of get to go with special
Get your own
things.
badge.
Going through the back door.
Yes?
I'll only ask this in the promo, but during the scene where Nero drop kicks Dante's face, is any or all that scene done in CG?
It's all done.
Or I mean mocap.
Mocap. Some of it, it's done in mocap. But the cool thing about mocap is we can kick somebody in the chest, and then later you just move them up a little bit. It looks like they're hitting the head. So we don't really kick people in the face.
Try not to.
We try. So with motion capture, that's the cool thing is you don't have to really do really dangerous stuff. You can kind of cheat a little bit with the animator's help. You want to try to do it as real as possible, so you come close. Like drop kicking somebody in the chest as opposed to the face, and it's just a simple. it's a lot of stuff we're doing. I'm actually working with James Cameron right now on Avatar, the movie he's doing. It's not Avatar the anime, but it's a different thing that he wrote 8 years ago. And every day we're doing those kind of cheap moves where we're, kind of, we could do it this way in real life and somebody would die, but why don't we do it this way so Reuben doesn't die? So and I'm grateful that they're doing
Grateful
that
for
way.
the non-death.
Yes, but it's still, injuries still happen. I tore my MCL on that set, so I messed up my neck and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But it's good times.
Remember what stunt you were doing when you messed up your leg?
Yes, I was shooting myself. Actually, it's, believe it or not, because in mocap you can play multiple characters and different things, and they just move it around. So, in one scene in the morning, I was playing a soldier shooting aliens, and then they switched it around. And the next, I was playing the alien that I was getting shot by, and I shot myself in the foot. And I was doing this reaction, and my foot actually stuck to the mat. So my foot didn't move, but my body went this way.
And that's the fastest way to screw up your
And but it looked really good. The animators thought the animation was broken. They were like, "Oh my god, how did this knee move like that?"
Like, yeah, I wonder how that knee moved.
Yeah, exactly. So,
sacrifices you make for your art.
yes, they better make it the movie. But yeah, no, that was, little accidents happen, no matter how safe we try to be. When I was getting jacked up.
Hazards of the profession.
Yep, but it's fun. It's fun we do it.
Okay, so on that note, what are some of your favorite and least favorite stunts?
The ones he hurts himself on.
Yeah, least favorite is the ones I hurt myself on.
Okay.
Favorite stunts, like in my reel, or just
Or mocap.
mocap?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have favorites, just because whatever's cool is cool. Yeah, whatever I don't hurt myself is definitely, those are my favorite. Once I do get hurt, I'm like, no, I hated that. The one takers, anything you do once and everybody loves it and is happy with it. Anything you have to keep doing over and over gets to be irritating. Because it hurts. I don't know. I wish I had a clearer answer. They're all cool. I like wire work. I'm a little afraid of it sometimes because it's so unpredictable. There's too many factors that can go on. You have people pulling you. You have different timings. If you're shooting live action with the camera, there's so many things involved. Even though it's cool, the ultimate result is cool. It's kind of iffy, so it's kind of pluses and minuses with it. I like it and I hate it.
So the really cool ones like the rain dance one, the live action commercial.
Right.
If you're doing multiple takes, each time it may be different depending on how people holding you or anything.
Yeah. For the rain one's not as hard because it's mostly just people letting me down, but running across the wall and flipping off the side of the wall, there's so much involved. I had like 3 or 4 different wires from different points picked on me, and everybody's timing has to be at the right moment to make it actually happen, and then I have to act it and do everything right at the same time. But if one person is off, then it screws up the whole movement. So that's the thing with wire work, is just so many different factors, and everybody has to work as a team and know what they're doing and pull at the right moments. And whereas if it's just me doing a kick or doing something, I know my ability, I know what I can do and what I can't do, and you just do it. And where the other stuff is like just wire work sucks. Where there's a lot of people.
Have you ever been in a situation where you don't exactly trust the guys working the wires?
Oh, yeah. The medallion.
Like sometimes you might feel comfortable, and other times you're just like, give me a couple minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in my reel where I'm jumping super high, from probably as high as the ceiling, and I'm on a wire. And as opposed to, in America they put you on a descender. I did a jump off a bridge for CSI. I was on a descender, which is great. It controls your fall at a certain speed and everything's smooth. And it has a break point on it, so you're not going to hit the ground no matter what. unless the rope breaks or something like that. But for a lot of the Hong Kong stuff, they don't have descenders. Some of the old school guys, it's just 5 guys holding a rope running down a corridor, with their life in their hand. And if one guy trips, then the other guy's gonna trip, and then that's it. There's no safety stopping point or anything. It's just a bunch of guys running down. And you're like, oh, here I go, or here I don't go. And the best thing is just to not even watch them. And just focus on what you have to do. And don't think about it. Don't think about it, exactly. And when Samo or somebody says action, you just do what you got to do. Because when you start thinking about it and hesitating, then that's when accidents happen.
Back here.
Who did the bass voicing it? I know you told us the person who wrote Captain Berlin also did the voice.
Right. Stephanie was from Bulgaria. She was a Bulgarian Taekwondo champion. So she has, even though she's been in America for like 10 years and her English is perfect, she does have a slight accent, Bulgarian accent. So Capcom didn't want that accent. They went with somebody else for the voice. The girl, I forgot the girl who actually went.
She also made a dance for or was it like a cactus like way back?
GameStop, yeah. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be, a few more months.
How long did it took you to work on that?
4 was about the same as 3. We shot all the mocap stuff. We shot in about 2.5, 3 weeks, and the voiceover stuff was about a week worth of voiceovers, and a week of rehearsals. So it was about the same kind of schedule. So about the same amount of cutscenes, 2.5 or just over 2 hours. Cutscenes.
I heard the Make Right for this was have a lot more cutscenes. People don't know to be combined. The director said how many that was
It's gonna have a bit more, time-wise. It's gonna be a bit more, but I don't know if it's gonna be quite that much more. But yeah, it's gonna run a little bit longer than 3. Cool.
In the live action Devil May Cry 3 commercial, how was swinging the Rebellion sword heavy, or was it easy to use?
It was heavy and awkward, and it wasn't balanced. It was made to look cool, and not made for
actual sword play.
Actual sword play. But
what was like the heaviest part of it?
Well, it wasn't balanced. Like most. Can I see your sword? Oh, this is pretty cool. Right, so this is actually better. Your sword, it's better balanced because it's a little bit longer down here, and if I grip it up here, it's still weighted in the front. But most swords have, if it's this big, if you have a sword this big, it'll have a counterweight, like a big metal ball right here, so it's counterweighted a little bit better. And the Rebellion in that commercial, it was shorter, it was about down to here, and there was 0 counterweight. So, you probably have massive forearms. But when you hold a sword like this, you have to carry all the weight with your forearm. Puts that extra strain. So.
Can you do a Dante pose with the sword?
Can we take personal pictures?
Not posing with him, but go ahead.
Picture of him with the sword.
Organized cam. On the tape. Oh my
We're just coming out of the woodwork now. Yeah, that's right. And this is where the convention union people are like,
Now you just have to stab someone.
Sit on a chair and do like a laid back though, like what Dante does.
Yeah,
like office.
without the sword. What else I can do?
Someone get us some nunchucks.
A guitar, yeah.
It's clown.
Coach like,
What?
no, like my bike.
Good enough.
Scared.
Thank you. That's really crazy.
The old pizza cardboard.
Yeah, piece of cardboard. Sorry, not. Hey, do take a picture.
Insurance. We good?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Very cool stuff, man.
Yeah, friend, I made
Let me
it.
see what's going on. Yeah. Awesome.
That's what I get for working at Target. Alright,
Alright, guys.
All right, yeah. It's about time that we've got to head on out, so thank you very much for coming in and Jason's gonna take you to some other event. So,